I think so. I think so. I know, he was a new coordinator, and last year there were so many quarterback issues, that it's hard to tell what a coordinator can do sometimes if you're getting inconsistent quarterback play at best. And that was at best. When you look at all the quarterbacks and their cumulative, like for us, we use that total QBR stat on ESPN. All of them were actually, I shouldn't say all of them. It was Haskins and Alex Smith. Their total QBRs were pretty low. Alex knows, I think, because that veteran stuff, knew how to win games. But my point is, the quarterback play it wasn't like they were getting great play there. So that's always an issue. And then you had Antonio Gibson learning a new position, and et cetera, et cetera. So there were games where you saw some things, but they went out and got Curtis Samuel. They drafted a tight end, so he should help. Even as a number 2, Logan Thomas. Gibson should be better. I mean, I really like him.
Yes.
And Adam Humphries, I think Adam Humphries will help. De'Ami Brown will help. So there is more there to work with. So yes, I think it's not that they have to have the NFL's best offense, but you need to see some level of consistency. And you need to see, how are they going to tap into this creativity? How are they going to use Curtis Samuel? That's when they signed him. All what I heard initially was, hey, they learned a few things watching how the staff last year in Carolina used him a lot more in the slot. Well, when Scott Turner talks about him, he talks about being downfield threat outside. That's how they used him the year before. So how does that evolve, and is it the right way, or we'll see. But I do think it's a big year for him. I think you've got to show that you can be a good coordinator with whatever the quarterback play they get. I remember when Kyle Shanahan was here, and the year that actually convinced me he was pretty good was 2011. And if you remember, that was the Rex
Grossman and John Beck year. Oh my God!
Yeah, and the receivers are like Jabbar Gaffney now. Santana was still here, but Santana wasn't prime Santana. So, but those guys were getting open because the offense was pretty good. They were middle of the pack with the stats and all that. But I'm like, guys getting guys open, and look at these guys. Half of them were out of the league the next year. So, but you could see what the offense was creating. If you got better quarterback play, if you brought in better talent, you could see what it could do. That's what I think we need to see this year. You definitely need to see a big step, because if you don't, then there's a problem.
And I don't think I've seen Scott Turner really schematically get guys open. I just have not seen that yet. No matter who's been at quarterback, like you said with Kyle Shanahan, that's what makes him great. Sean McVay and so on. No matter who's out there lining up at the XZ, whatever, they know how to scheme it up to get them open, regardless of the coverage, what have you. And even, with the draft selection of Antonio Gibson, I didn't really even see him in the passing game as much as I believe. I'm hoping that we'll see that more this year, but nothing last year showed me that I should be optimistic of such. I've seen J.D. McKissick involved in that a lot, but the bigger mismatch is a 6'3" running back, 220, 230, lining up. Just lining up.
What about Logan Thomas, AJ? Logan Thomas had a good year, right?
Yeah, I think he had a good year. I mean, if you think where he's coming from being a former quarterback and bouncing around as a tight end, trying to learn the position. But in tight end positions in the league, they're typically open. It's not that hard to get them open, I just don't know about Scott Turner. I'm not so, because I know just as a fan in the earlier stages of the season, I was so frustrated. I was just like, this doesn't make sense to me. A lot of the play calls, they weren't balanced. They weren't even necessarily helping the quarterbacks get the ball out their hands quicker. It wasn't taking advantage of mismatches. It was just kind of alarming to me.
And there's some of that. I think the whole thing with Gibson, he had a lot to learn at running back. And I think he's somebody that really needed that offseason last year on the field, in OTAs, in training camp, and preseason games to learn a new position. And I think they want to get him comfortable there. So I think that's why I say I think it's a big year to see how they use him. I do think when we watch him this spring, he looks like a guy who's a lot more comfortable out there. And I could see his role evolving in the pass game, because like you kind of expect that. I love J.D. McKissick. And so I think I like the way Cam Sims improved. I think some of those guys, and this is where we go back to the quarterback play, guys like Cam Sims and some, some of the younger receivers did a better job when Alex Smith was in there because he could help them with the plays, the routes, etc. And that's where a young quarterback like Dwayne, who needed to do a better job in a lot of ways, but he wasn't equipped. Even if he was doing a great job in this area, I don't know that you're as equipped to handle, like to remind Isaiah Wright, hey, on this one, you got to do this, because you got a lot in your own head you're going on. Alex Smith doesn't have that. Will Fitzpatrick, I don't think Heineke, I think he was good with that too. So I think that's where they'll benefit. But I know, listen, you have to see it. And I think consistency is what you want to see. And I think we've talked a lot about the flexibility and the versatility of this offense. All right, well, how is that incorporated? And the other thing too, when I would talk to players, but executives and people from other teams, they weren't exactly wowed by the offensive talent here last year. It certainly wasn't top half. But one thing they did say is that they need to find that bread and butter play, especially the run play. I don't know that we really saw that last year. So that's something that I'm kind of looking to see this year. Is there a run play that you consistently go to on 3rd and 2? You need 3 yards, go to this play. That's not just about play calls, it's about talent, but I think it's all both. And so I think that's something I'm also curious to see too, how that develops.